Not every bike earns respect. In fact, some guarantee you'll look like a complete clown the second you roll up. Stick around as we break down 15 motorcycles that turn cool into cringe. Don't miss the finale. Our number 1 pick will blow your mind. Number 15, Polaris Slingshot. Few machines blur the line between motorcycle and car quite like the Slingshot, and that's exactly where its problems begin. It is neither a motorcycle nor a proper car, and pulling up to bike night in one draws the kind of stares most men would rather avoid. Riders who want a true sense of freedom on the open road often discover that this 3-wheeled contraption feels more like a costume than a ride. Tucked beneath its radical, sharp-edged bodywork, the Slingshot hides a 2,000 cubic centimeter 4-cylinder engine that cranks out just over 200 horsepower and roughly 144 pound-feet of torque, more showpiece than soul when it hits the road. Owners often note that while the numbers look strong, the sheer bulk of the machine keeps it from feeling lively on the road. Braking is handled by anti-lock braking system-equipped discs at all 3 corners, paired with a double wishbone front suspension and a simple coil-over rear. At roughly 1,750 pounds wet and a seat height of 43 inches, many riders report it feels more like a go-kart than a motorcycle. Starting near $35,000, consumer reviews often highlight the lack of authenticity for the price. The problem is not only the numbers. Sitting inside it, gripping a steering wheel instead of handlebars, strips away the bond that defines real riding. The feeling resembles a carnival ride more than open road freedom. True respect comes from commanding 2 wheels, not defending a machine confused about its own identity. Number 14. 0SR/F. Step onto the SR/F and you immediately realize that silence isn't always golden. For riders who grew up on the sound and feel of a big twin engine, twisting the throttle on this electric machine delivers plenty of motion but very little emotion. Many men walk away from it wondering if progress has left behind the very heart of riding. Driven by a 1,276 cubic centimeter electric motor, the SRF puts out 113 horsepower and delivers an immediate 140 pound-feet of torque, hitting with force the moment you twist the throttle. Dual disc with a full anti-lock braking system provides stopping confidence, while Showa's fully adjustable components manage suspension duties front and rear. Overall weight comes in around 500 pounds wet, with a seat height of 31 inches offering a balanced upright stance. Starting prices land near $19,000, and many riders note that while performance feels sharp, the limited range leaves practicality trailing behind its premium price. The real challenge is not engineering but experience. Without sound, the rider loses the connection of feeling an engine breathe. Range anxiety lingers, turning rides into calculations of miles and charging stops. On a Harley-Davidson, you fuel and ride. On the SRF, you hunt outlets, leaving many riders cold. If you're nodding along or maybe even disagreeing with a few of these choices, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Every rider has an opinion on what earns respect and what doesn't. I want to hear yours because the road teaches us all in different ways. Number 13. Ural Gear Up. Leaving behind outdated history, the focus moves to an American machine that demands a fortune for questionable returns. Its appearance on the road looks more like a parade from decades past than a modern riding experience. For a rider seeking heritage and a touch of nostalgia, it might look appealing at first glance, but once the miles start adding up, the reality is far less charming. Turning the wheels of the Gear Up is a 749 cubic centimeter flat twin engine, delivering 40 horsepower and 42 pound-feet of torque in a package that feels more vintage tractor than modern motorcycle. Braking comes through an anti-lock braking system with discs, while a leading link setup in the front and twin shocks in the rear keep the sidecar rig in motion. Its dry weight measures 730 pounds paired with a seat height of 31.5 inches that places the rider high above the road. With starting prices set near $18,000, many owners remark that the old world design feels charming but outdated for the money. The sidecar defines the Gear Up, yet it limits more than it liberates. Riders wrestle with awkward handling, unpredictable tracking, and sluggish performance on highways. Many carry tools, expecting roadside fixes as part of the ride. Nostalgia remains, but compromise dominates. Next comes an American machine, where costly craftsmanship masks shaky practicality. Some bikes make you look like a clown, but your gear shouldn't. We've prepared a list of rider-approved accessories that keep you looking sharp instead of silly. Check the description. Number 12. Confederate Hellcat. Italian ambition takes the spotlight next, where style and promise mask a frustrating reality. With its billet aluminum bodywork and bold design lines, it looks more like an art project than a machine meant to tackle miles of open highway. For men who value substance over flash, this bike quickly reveals the gap between price tag and riding satisfaction. Housed within its polished aluminum frame, the Hellcat thunders with a 2,163 cubic centimeter V twin engine, pushing out 121 horsepower and a hefty 140 pound-feet of torque with brute force character. Stopping power is managed by a full anti-lock braking system, while fully adjustable forks up front and a rear monoshock provide the suspension setup. Dry weight comes in at 570 pounds with a seat height of 27.5 inches, giving it a low-slung profile. Starting above $75,000, many riders point out that its cost far outweighs its real-world performance, which can be matched by far more affordable machines. The real issue with the Hellcat is daily reality. Built in small numbers, it lacks consistent quality and reliable support. Owners spend more time chasing service than riding, with rare, costly parts adding frustration. For riders who value grit and freedom, it feels hollow. Next comes an Italian beauty haunted by electrical demons. Number 11. Aprilia Shiver 900. What follows is an American superbike that carried big dreams but ended in collapse. It was meant to be a dependable middleweight naked bike that delivered character without the high price of a superbike. What many riders found instead was a machine that seemed to spend more time puzzling its owners than rewarding them with confidence. Beneath the surface, the Shiver is driven by an 896 cubic centimeter V twin engine, delivering 95 horsepower and 66 pound-feet of torque with the temperamental edge typical of Italian machines. Braking is managed by a modern anti-lock braking system with adjustable front forks paired to a rear monoshock for balanced handling. Its wet weight measures 463 pounds, while the seat height of 31.9 inches provides a slightly elevated stance compared to rivals. With starting prices near $11,000, it offered Italian styling and performance in an entry-level package, though long-term owners often noted reliability concerns. The Shiver falters in execution, with jerky throttle response and random electrical quirks undermining trust. On paper balanced, in practice disconnected, it frustrates seasoned riders who demand stability. Next, the spotlight shifts from Italian flaws to an ambitious American superbike undone by its own collapse. Number 10. Buell 190 RX. Ambition can push a company to bold heights, but it can also bring it crashing down, and the 1190 RX is proof of that risk. Designed to compete with the finest superbikes in the world, it was supposed to be the crown jewel of American engineering. Instead, it became a symbol of how chasing performance without long-term support can leave riders stranded with expensive machines that few can maintain. Driving the 1190 RX forward is an 1190 cubic centimeter V twin engine, unleashing 185 horsepower and 101 pound-feet of torque with superbike-level intensity. Stopping duties are handled by a modern anti-lock braking system, while fully adjustable Showa components control both the front and rear suspension. Its dry weight comes in at 419 pounds, and the seat height of 32.5 inches gives it an aggressive stance suited for sport riding. With a starting price of $17,000, it appeared to offer superbike performance at a reasonable cost, though ownership often proved far more complicated. The downfall of the 1190 RX was its story, not its speed. After the company collapsed, owners faced scarce parts, no support, and constant uncertainty. Instead of freedom, it bred anxiety. Next comes an Italian machine, alluring in style yet plagued by hidden reliability flaws. Number 9. MV Agusta Brutale 800. Attention now shifts to a mid-range contender that talks tough but fails on basics. Standing still, it looks like pure performance captured in steel and aluminum. Yet beneath the beautiful bodywork, many riders have learned that striking design cannot cover for constant electrical issues and unpredictable reliability that sap confidence from every mile. Tucked within the Brutal is a 798 cubic centimeter inline 3-cylinder engine, firing out 140 horsepower and 64 pound-feet of torque with a raw, high-revving character. Braking is supplied by a full anti-lock braking system with adjustable Marzocchi forks up front and a Sachs shock in the rear managing the ride. Dry weight is measured at 385 pounds, paired with a seat height of 32.7 inches that places the rider higher than most middleweights. Starting near $15,000, it entered the market against proven Japanese and European rivals, though many riders noted its reliability lagged behind the competition. In real-world riding, the Brutale frustrates with random stalls, cryptic error codes, and erratic fueling. Riders spend more time chasing rare service than enjoying curves. It promises Italian excitement yet delivers unreliability. Next, the focus turns to a mid-range contender that struggles even with basic dependability. Number 8. Benelli TNT 600Y. Our journey continues with a British revival that fell short of its own legacy. It arrived with bold Italian styling cues and a promise of accessible 4-cylinder performance, yet the reality of ownership often left riders frustrated by build quality that did not match the showroom shine. Beating at the core of the TNT 600i is a 599 cubic centimeter inline 4-cylinder engine, pushing out 85 horsepower and 41 pound-feet of torque with a strained but eager delivery. Braking performance comes from an anti-lock braking system with discs, while conventional telescopic forks up front and a rear monoshock handle suspension duties. Its wet weight stands at 485 pounds and the seat height of 30.7 inches provides a slightly compact stance for riders. With a starting price of $7,000, it went head-to-head with established Japanese 600 class machines, though many owners found its finish and durability a step behind. The TNT 600i struggles with durability, from loose bolts to cracked panels and sudden electrical issues. Reliability, the core of rider trust, is missing, leaving every ride uncertain. Aggressive looks mask inconsistency. Next, we move from flawed Italian design to British nostalgia that never matured into modern dependability. Number 7. Norton Commando 961. Trading nostalgia for novelty, the spotlight lands on an electric superbike that promises more than it gives. The 961 was supposed to revive that golden age with modern engineering, but the end result carried more nostalgia than reliability. What should have been a proud resurrection of a historic name too often reminded its owners why the brand had disappeared in the first place. Beneath its retro-inspired styling, the Commando 961 carries a 961 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, putting out 80 horsepower and 59 pound-feet of torque with an old-school thrum that feels frozen in time. Stopping power is delivered through an anti-lock braking system, while Uhland's components manage suspension duties both front and rear. Its dry weight measures 506 pounds, paired with a seat height of 31.5 inches that offers a classic upright stance. With a starting price of $20,000, it targeted riders seeking vintage charm blended with modern engineering, though many found its reliability failed to justify the premium. The Commando 961 fell short, plagued by electrical faults and wiring so messy mechanics compared it to tangled lights. Riders faced breakdowns, scarce parts, and constant doubt instead of confidence. Next, the spotlight shifts to an Italian electric superbike, proving modern technology can stumble as badly as tradition. Number 6. Energica Ego. From futuristic power, we head into experimental steering, where innovation drifts into complication. Marketed as an Italian superbike for the future, it delivers impressive numbers on a spec sheet, but leaves many traditional riders questioning whether the experience feels worthy of its steep price. Instead of the deep rumble of a combustion engine, the Ego offers a silent surge that often feels clinical rather than emotional. Those who climb onto the Ego are met with an electric motor that unleashes 145 horsepower and an instant surge of 148 pound-feet of torque, delivering power the moment you twist the throttle. A complete anti-lock braking system with dual discs provides stopping power, while fully adjustable Marzocchi front suspension pairs with a Sachs rear monoshock for control at speed. Its wet weight comes in at 573 pounds, with a seat height of 31.9 inches, offering a tall but aggressive stance. Starting at $24,000, it sits squarely in the same price range as high-end gas-powered superbikes, forcing buyers to weigh tradition against cutting-edge technology. The Ego's downfall is range and recharging. Hard riding drains the battery in under 90 miles, and charging delays ruin long trips. Riders raised on Harley-Davidson Freedom see constant charge worries as the opposite of adventure. Next comes an experimental design where radical steering ideas prove more frustrating than revolutionary. Number 5. Bimota Tesi 3D. Innovation can be a blessing when it improves the ride, but the Tesi 3D demonstrates how chasing complexity can sacrifice the very qualities that riders value most. With its futuristic hub-center steering and radical design, it certainly looks like nothing else on the road. Yet the bold experiment often leaves traditional riders unconvinced, wondering if the designers were more interested in proving a point than creating a motorcycle that works in real-world conditions. Driving the Tesi 3D is a Ducati-sourced 1198 cubic centimeter engine, pushing out 160 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque with a fierce, unmistakably Italian character. A complete anti-lock braking system handles stopping duties, while hub-center steering paired with a swing-arm-style front and a fully adjustable rear monoshock create its unconventional setup. Dry weight comes in at 370 pounds with a seat height of 31.5 inches that places the rider slightly elevated for its class. Starting above $40,000, it sits well beyond the price of many fully dressed Harley-Davidson touring motorcycles, leaving most riders questioning its value. The Tesi 3D stumbles on rider confidence. Its hub-center steering feels detached, leaving the front wheel seemingly independent. Sparse dealer support and scarce parts make ownership exhausting. For riders seeking connection, frustration outweighs thrill. Next, we examine another Italian experiment where exotic styling drifts even deeper into impracticality. Number 4. Vyrus 987 C34 V. Shifting from engineering excess, we arrive at Hollywood-backed exclusivity with more shine than substance. The 987 C34 V is one of the boldest attempts to reinvent what a superbike could be, but its radical approach often left riders more puzzled than inspired. It carried the aura of exclusivity, yet that same rarity made it impractical for most men who simply wanted a machine they could ride and enjoy without hesitation. Driving the 987 C34 V is a Ducati-sourced 1198 cubic centimeter V-twin engine producing 211 horsepower and 90 pound-feet of torque. A full anti-lock braking system provides control under braking, while hub-center steering with dual swing arms and a fully adjustable suspension highlight its experimental design. Its dry weight is measured at 370 pounds, with a seat height of 31.5 inches, giving it an aggressive riding stance. With a starting price of $40,000, it entered the market as an exotic option, though far removed from what most practical riders would ever consider. While the specifications suggest dominance, the reality was far less balanced. The unconventional steering design created an unusual lack of front-end feel, leaving even experienced riders uneasy at speed. Combine that with the scarcity of parts and the near impossibility of finding trained mechanics, and the bike quickly became more conversation piece than trusted companion. For men who grew up equating motorcycles with freedom, the 987 C34 V instead represents complication. The next chapter shifts from an experimental Italian superbike to a Hollywood-backed cruiser that proves celebrity names do not guarantee quality. Number 3. Arch KRGT1. Before the list crowns its final entry, we pause with an electric superbike that trades endurance for raw speed. Co-founded by actor Keanu Reeves, Arch set out to create an American cruiser that merged artistry with power. The result is undeniably eye-catching, yet beneath the premium finish lies a reality that many riders discover does not always measure up to the price being asked. The KRGT1 is driven by a massive 2,032 cubic centimeter S and SV twin engine, producing 121 horsepower and 115 pound-feet of torque with the kind of brute force only a hand-built cruiser can offer. Braking is handled by a complete anti-lock braking system, while fully adjustable Öhlins components manage suspension duties at both ends. Its wet weight is 638 pounds, paired with a seat height of 27.8 inches that offers a low, planted riding position. With a starting price of $78,000, it stands well above typical heavyweight cruisers, asking buyers to pay for exclusivity as much as performance. The challenge with the KRGT1 is not performance alone, but value. While the bike delivers strong torque and handcrafted attention to detail, riders expecting unmatched capability often find themselves comparing it to machines costing half as much that provide equal or greater confidence on long tours. Service and parts are highly specialized, meaning any setback can turn into a long wait rather than a quick fix. For a man who wants a motorcycle that works as hard as it looks, the KRGT1 feels more like a collectible than a companion. The next chapter turns from celebrity-backed exclusivity to an electric superbike that reaches impressive speed, yet struggles to provide endurance. Number 2. Lightning LS 218. Only one machine remains, a monument to excess that proves cost never guarantees respect. On paper, its top speed and headline-grabbing acceleration seem like a glimpse into the future of motorcycling. But for riders who value long miles and practical performance, the LS218 can feel more like a laboratory experiment than a trustworthy touring companion. Powering the LS218 is a liquid-cooled electric motor rated at 200 horsepower with 168 pound-feet of torque delivered instantly. The real concern is not its speed, but its endurance. Under normal conditions, range hovers around 100 miles. But that figure shrinks drastically when the bike is ridden with enthusiasm. Recharging can take hours, leaving riders waiting rather than riding, and the sparse charging network adds another layer of anxiety. Build quality has also drawn criticism, with fit and finish that lag behind established manufacturers. For a rider who grew up trusting his machine to carry him across state lines without hesitation, the LS218 offers uncertainty where there should be confidence. The next chapter crowns the list with a machine that proves cost alone can never replace genuine performance or timeless engineering. We've still got the number 1 pick ahead, but before we hit it, make sure you're subscribed. Number 1. Ecosse Heretic ES1. At the very top of this list sits a motorcycle that seems less like a machine for the road and more like a statement of unchecked extravagance. The ES1 is an exercise in excess, carrying a price tag that places it in the realm of private jets and waterfront homes rather than garages. For riders who value tradition, torque, and long miles, this bike stands as the clearest example that wealth does not always buy wisdom. Wrapped in its exotic titanium bodywork, the ES1 harnesses a 2,490 cubic centimeter V-twin engine, producing 200 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque with unapologetic extravagance. A complete anti-lock braking system manages stopping power, while fully adjustable racing-grade suspension was chosen to match its extreme performance intent. Its dry weight falls just under 460 pounds, paired with a seat height of 32 inches that places the rider in an aggressive position. With a starting price of $3,600,000, it became one of the most expensive motorcycles ever produced, a symbol of exclusivity over practicality. If this breakdown opened your eyes, hit that like button, share it with a brother who rides, and let me know in the comments what you'd add or remove from this list. And if you haven't already, subscribe right now, because every week we cut through the hype, expose the truth, and keep riders like you ahead of the curve.